and welcome to Catalyst Kids at Home. You have arrived at our primary kids church service and you are, boy oh boy, very welcome. Whether it's your first time watching or your gazillionth time watching, you are so welcome. My name is Sarah. Hello, lovely to meet you or see you again. And we have a whole bunch of exciting things in store for today. We are going to worship together. We are going to go on a Connect Crew spaceship adventure in space to learn more about our mission to love God and love others. We are going to hear from one of our incredible kids team and learn a new Summer Skills Challenge. We are also going to have a couple of our wonderful Catalyst kids be in this video today, so look out for them. And we also have a Summer Mission Challenge for you to complete. So loads of stuff going on. First of all, let's kick things off today with a little bit of worship, which is when we sing and dance because God is so good. So jump to your feet, find somewhere in the room that you're in where you're going to be comfy and able to worship with all your might. And as you warm yourself up, get yourself ready, I am going to give you a little sneak peek as to what today's memory verse from the Bible is. It is this. It is from Luke 10:27. And it goes like this. You must love Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, that verse might sound slightly familiar because it's actually very similar to what we are about to sing in worship. See if you can remember, what would the word be, Sarah? It's not like spot the difference, spot the same. Spot the sameness with Luke 10:27 and what we're about to sing. Enjoy, let us worship.
Matthew 22:37-38. Matthew 22, Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first, this is the greatest commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first, this is the greatest commandment. Love, love, love. God is great, God is king. Love, love, love. Loving God is the greatest thing. Love, love, love. God is great, God is king. Love, love, love. Loving God is the greatest thing. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first, this is the greatest commandment.
So we sing and we shout and we dance. There is freedom, freedom. There is hope unending in you, Jesus, Jesus. So we sing and we shout and we dance. We will sing, sing, sing at the top of our lungs. We will shout, Jesus, you are the one. We will dance, dance, dance because of your love. We sing and we shout, we dance. We will sing, sing, sing at the top of our lungs. We will shout, Jesus, you are the one. We will dance, dance, dance because of your love. We sing and we shout, we dance for your glory. And we sing and we shout, we dance for your glory.
And we're back. Hello. Are you tired out from all of that worship? I hope so, but I also hope that you're not too tired, because coming up next we have our Some Summer Skills Challenge, and you are going to need all the energy you can get. So jump back on your feet and get ready for this. Today we have the incredible Simon from our Inverurie Kids team who's going to give us our skills challenge for the day. Along with him, we have the amazing, wonderful Marin. So get yourselves ready, get yourselves steady. Can you do this challenge?
Good morning and welcome to this morning's exercise challenge. My name's Simon and I'm from the Inverurie site. This is my helper and my daughter Marin, and we're going to teach you this morning how to do the lockdown long jump challenge. Now, you don't need too much space to do this, but you'll see in a minute how to go about doing it. You do need some equipment though. You need something to be your marker, and we're going to start off with a scrubbing brush as our starting marker, so that goes down by our toes. And then each competitor needs a marker for how long they've jumped. I'm going for a banana.
I'm going for a water bottle.
Okay, and here's what you do now. It wouldn't be fair for Marin to have to jump as far as me because my legs are a whole lot longer than hers. So here's how we work out how far you're going to jump. We're going to lie down with our toes by the marker, and then you get down on the ground and you put your marker where your nose is. And over to the side. And Marin's marker's by her nose over to the side. And the aim is to start with a standing jump, your toes by the starting line, and to jump beyond your marker. Now who's going first, you or me, Marin?
Me.
Okay, so jump beyond the blue bottle. 2, 1. Easy. Okay, can I do it? 3, 2, 1, jump. Oh, beyond the banana.
Now, you have to put a hand,
Yeah?
then move the water bottle next
So you take your hand sideways and you move your marker one hand along.
and then let's do it again.
So we've done toes to nose, and now it's toes to nose plus one hand.
2.
1, go. Easy, my turn. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I didn't make it. Okay, so I've only made one banana length. You'll go, Marin. Can you do toes to nose plus 2? 3, 2, 1. Ah, she just made it. Marin's the winner. How many toes to nose plus hands can you do for the lockdown long jump? Good luck.
Bye.
Amazing! Wasn't that such a cool challenge? I loved it. Thank you so much, guys. And Marin, congratulations for crazy amazing jumping skills. So good. Now I wonder how you guys got on with that at home. How far did you manage to jump? And what did you use to measure your jumping skills? A banana? A water bottle? Something else? I wonder. Remember, you can keep practicing that Some Summer Skills Challenge all week long with your family and friends, and keep us posted on how you get on. Now, coming up next, we are about to just quickly pop up into space, just a wee jolly trip up into space, to find out what is going on with the Connect crew. We have been learning with the Connect crew all about God's mission to the people who follow him, and that is to love God and love others. Let's see what they have to say this week.
Love.
everyone, Cruz and Ray here.
And we're talking about what it means to be the church.
The church isn't just a building.
When we make the decision to follow Jesus, we are the church, and we have an important mission from God. What are you doing?
All this talk about mission has me thinking about space mission. I one time made a movie called Once Upon a Time in Outer Space. It was out of this world.
Okay, well, when you're done spacewalking, it's time to rehearse the verse.
Today's verse is found in the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 27. Say it like this. Luke 10:27. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Great. Now repeat after me. Luke 10:27.
Luke 10:27.
You must love the Lord your God
You must love the Lord your God
with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind,
with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind.
and love your neighbor as yourself.
And love your neighbor as yourself.
Great job.
That verse describes our mission perfectly. And it's very simple. 1, love God, and 2, love others.
That's it?
That's it.
But the verse just tells us to love our neighbor. But we live in space. We don't have neighbors.
Well, your neighbors may not be who you think they are. Watch this and maybe you'll see what I'm talking about.
Hi, welcome to Evan Explores the World, the show where Evan, that's me, explores the world. Now, I've been so many places and seen so many people and things that you're probably thinking that I'm going to sit here and tell you how different these people and places and things are. Well, sure, you're right. People from all over the world seem very different from us at first. But when you take a deeper look into things, you'll see that we all have some pretty interesting things in common. First, we live together. Now, you're probably thinking, Evan, you're wrong. We all don't live together. I live with my mom and my dad and my dogs and my cats and my brothers and my sisters and my gerbil and my bearded dragon. Not everyone in the world is that close. Well, maybe you're right. Or maybe you're not. You see, it's all about perspective. From where you're standing on the earth, the world can seem like a huge, big place, right? But think about it. Out of the whole universe that God made, Earth is just a teeny tiny speck in the gazillion, squillion galaxies that God put together. And think about it. Out of all those stars and planets, God could have given us our own planet, right? But he didn't give us that. He put us all on the same planet, Earth, together, all of us. And you know why? You know what that makes us? Neighbors. That's right. And what do neighbors do for each other? They help each other out most, especially when they need it. Now, there have been times where you needed something right now, whether it was water or food or clothes or a place to sleep or anything. You get the idea. And when our neighbors need those things in an emergency, the best thing we can do is be there for them right at that moment. But what our neighbors really need, what they really need is someone who knows them and loves them and truly believes that they can become all the things that God has created them to be. And when we know like that and when we love like that, we're truly being the best thing that we can be. And that's be a neighbor. That's it. Tune in next week when
Evan explores the world.
Really, Carlton, what does that have to do with anything?
See what I mean?
We're lucky we don't have to make robot voices because we have a robot.
No. Well, yes, but no. Evan was talking about how we're all neighbors. So when God tells us to love our neighbors, he means everyone.
Is there an example?
The Bible has a lot of examples about this. Oh, here's one.
The Good Samaritan. Really? Martians? I one time made a movie about...
Cruz, there's no such thing as Martians. This story is about the Good Samaritan, and it's perfect.
This is his 66 picks mixed up into one. The book's about God, who he is and what he's done. It's the Holy Bible, y'all, with God's truth packed tight inside. It's alive, a prize to hide in your heart and in your mind. Old Testament's a setup for the big event, when Jesus crashed the scene with a new arrangement. It's history, his story, whose story, God's story. Oh, the story of how much he loves me. Let it blow up all the pages, let this show go live. Let his word explode from this video into your life.
One day, Jesus told a story about a Jewish man who lived in Jerusalem. The man decided to visit his friends in Jericho. He set out on his journey, enjoying the beautiful sunshine.
It's a great day for a long walk. Yep, a great day indeed.
Suddenly, robbers appeared from out of nowhere. The robbers took the man's clothes and beat him up. They beat him up so badly, by the time they were done, he was laying beside the road, nearly dead. A priest came along. To the Jewish man, this seemed like good news. Priests are close to God, right? He'll know what to do. The priest saw the wounded man, but he pretended he didn't. Instead, he whistled and looked away as he crossed to the other side of the road and kept on walking. Next, a man who worked in the temple walked by. To the Jewish man, this was good news. If this guy worked in the temple, he must be close to God, right? He'll know what to do for sure. The temple assistant saw the man dying beside the road, but he pretended that he didn't see him and looked away as he crossed to the other side and kept walking. Next, a Samaritan came along. To the Jewish man, this didn't seem like good news at all. No one likes Samaritans. The Jewish man figured he could pretty much write this guy off. But then the most unexpected thing happened. The Samaritan stopped. He got into the ditch with the Jewish man and bandaged his wounds. Then he loaded the man onto his donkey and took him to an inn. The next day, the Samaritan paid the innkeeper with his own money.
Please take good care of him. If his bill becomes more than what I just paid you, I promise I will pay you the rest when I get back.
So, is it better to look like someone who helps others, or to actually be someone who helps others? If you say it's more important to be someone who helps, you'd be right. Jesus asks us to be like the Samaritan and to do things just like he did.
See? The Good Samaritan helped a stranger who needed him. He understood that we're all neighbors.
So, neighbors are not just the people who live next door to us?
Yep.
Neighbors are everyone?
Yep.
Even the people who live in space?
Let's just watch the next video.
So today we're going to be talking about neighbors. Get used to that word because you're going to be hearing it a lot. Why? Because neighbors are kind of a big deal. Jesus said that besides loving God, loving your neighbor was the most important thing ever. Period. That's it. I'm just kidding. I've got a lot more to say about it. So neighbor, loving our neighbor should be easy, right? I mean, they're our neighbors. They live in our neighborhood. They talk like us. They dress like us. I mean, what's not to love? Am I right? No, I'm not right. And that's because our neighbors could be anybody. And sure, that includes people that are just like us. Hey, you're just like me. And you're just like me. Love you, neighbor. Love you too, neighbor. Okay, so showing love to people who are a lot like you isn't bad. But you have to admit, it's not exactly hard either. I mean, who doesn't love someone that they already have exactly everything in common with? Showing love to your neighbor also means showing love to those people who seem a lot different from you. Hi, you seem different from me. And you seem different from me. Love you, neighbor. Love you more, neighbor. So you see, loving your neighbor is kind of a big deal. But that doesn't mean just loving the people who are a lot like us. That's the easy part. I mean, everybody does that. We're really going to love our neighbor the way Jesus meant? And that means spending time with, loving, and taking care of those who are a lot different from us. Because to God, we all matter. If we all learn to love like that, the whole world will see God's kind of love. I'm your neighbor, Carlton. That's it.
Ray and Cruz are learning what it means to be a neighbor. Now they must learn how to live out God's command to love our neighbors. It will help when they discover today's point. Say it with me, friends. Are you ready? A good neighbor cares, shares, and is always there. Very good. I hope Ray and Cruz discover this point very soon.
Shelby writes, God tells us to love our neighbors. Does that mean the people that live next to us? What do you think, Hank?
Yes, it means you love the people who live right beside you. Once you have them covered, you're good. I mean, if you want to get crazy, I guess you could be nice to the people across the street or something, but really just focus on the people who live next door. Those are your neighbors.
You know, Hank, some people might think you're right.
Of course I am. I'm always right.
But when God said love our neighbors, he didn't just mean the people that live next to us. He meant people all around us, wherever we go. Those are our neighbors.
You must have a really big neighborhood.
By calling them our neighbors, what Jesus meant is that we're all the same. We may seem pretty different, but no matter how different we seem, we're all the same. And we have a lot of pretty important things in common.
Oh yeah? That's right. We have lots of things in common. We have brains and eyeballs and ears for listening to cool jams and shiny scales.
Well, yeah, we have some of those things in common, but God was really talking about our hearts. We were all made to love, and we were all made for loving each other. That's what our hearts are for, no matter how different we may seem.
So everyone with a heart is my neighbor?
Yeah, Hank, I guess you could say that.
I did say that. So glad I could answer today's question.
Yeah, Shelby, that was a great question.
Maybe slightly above average.
Keep those questions coming, kids, because Hank knows.
Okay, I got it. Everyone on Earth and on the Connect station is my neighbor.
I'm glad you got it. Now I'm the one who has the question. You watch things here. I'm gonna go... to the room.
Hello, Ray. How can I help you?
Well, we've been talking about who our neighbors are. I know, everyone's my neighbor. But to live out the mission, I need to love my neighbor. And I'm not sure that I can do that, since everyone's my neighbor. And that's a lot of people. Room, will you show me today's verse? Luke 10:27. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. So, I was wondering, how do I love my neighbor?
The Bible has much to say about loving others.
True. Today's Bible story was about the Good Samaritan, who helped a stranger that had been robbed, beaten, and left on the side of the road. But I've never seen someone who was beaten up or robbed. So, how do I love my neighbor?
You are someone's neighbor too. What makes you feel loved?
Well, when someone cares and listens to me. I remember when my grandma died, some people from our church, they came over and reminded us that God loves us. And they told us that if we needed anything, they were there for us.
It sounds like they knew how to love their neighbors.
They did. They loved my whole family really well. And I want to love my neighbors too. And a good neighbor cares, shares, and is always there. A good neighbor cares, shares, and is always there. And that's the point.
Congratulations, Ray. You have connected the dots.
Time to go love some neighbors. Thanks, Room.
You're very welcome, Ray.
Oh, you're back. What did the room say?
Well, since everyone's my neighbor, I was wondering how to really love everyone. So the room helped me connect the dots and discover the point.
Really? What's the point?
A good neighbor cares, shares, and is always there.
That's important to remember. Let's say it together. A good neighbor cares, shares, and is always there. Nice job. And that is important to remember if we really want to love others like God wants us to.
And that goes perfectly with this week's verse. Let's say it together. Luke 10:27. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Great job. And this week, let's remember who our neighbors are.
So that we can do our mission to 1. Love God,
And 2. Love others. That's it.
Wonderful. You know, when we choose to follow Jesus, God fills us up with his love. But we're not meant to keep that all to ourselves. We can show and share God's love with everybody around us. We can be a good neighbor. A good neighbor is someone who shares, cares, and is always there. Now, talking about good neighbours, I think it's about time for our Summer Mission Challenge. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But before we get on to that for this week, I think we need to rewind to last week. Last week, your Summer Mission Challenge was to find a way to donate food to our storehouse food bank, or if you don't live anywhere near any of our churches, find a way to donate food to people in need in your local area. Now, I wonder if you managed to do that. Did you get on with that challenge? Did you manage to do something cool? I wonder. I hope so. It's very great. Now, this week, I actually heard an incredible story from one of our very own Catalyst kids who managed to achieve that mission in a crazy, cool, creative way. He achieved something incredible and managed to donate some money to the storehouse food bank. So I thought, well, let's get an interview with this very cool kid so that you guys can hear his amazing story as well. So without further ado, I'd like you to put your hands together, give a clappity clap, welcome Alex from Inverurie. And this is his interview.
Hello, so here we have the wonderful Alex from Inverurie. Should we give him a wee hello? Hello. I'm waving at you're not waving, Alex. Alex says hello to everybody. Now, Alex, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourselves? You could tell them what your favourite thing to do in the whole wide world is.
Well, my favourite thing to do in the whole wide world is to play with my dogs.
Very cute. Do they have names? What types of dogs are they?
We have a Labrador and a sausage dog, and the Labrador is called Siggy and the sausage dog's called Kana.
Very fun. Do you play catch with them? Are they good at catching stuff?
Siggy is.
Yeah.
But Kana is pretty old,
so just plods along.
Sleeps all day.
Very good. Well, we're here today with this wonderful little interview because over lockdown you have done something crazy cool. You've achieved an incredible sporting achievement. Would you like to tell everybody about it?
Well, I ran a marathon in a month. And
so impressive.
And I ran with my cousin.
Yes. Very fun. So, and you did that all over the month, so it was lots of runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like 3 kilometre, 4 kilometre, 5 kilometre runs.
Very, very impressive. Well done. And I heard that you had a little sweetie to keep you going when you got tired, just to munch along on. That was great.
Well, it was great, but sometimes it was pretty tricky and when I was tired.
Yeah, I bet it was. Doing a marathon would be exhausting. Congratulations, that's such a crazy cool thing to achieve. And how old are you, Alex?
I'm 8 and November I'm gonna be 9.
Wow, I mean, to have done a marathon and you're not even 9 years old yet is so impressive. Well done. I hear you have a little medal and a certificate, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to show us?
This is my medal.
So colourful. Lovely.
And I have my certificate down here.
So good. Look at that. So professional. Are you going to frame it, put it on the wall?
Yeah.
Very good. And now, usually people who run marathons, it's very good for them because they get all nice and fit and healthy. But your marathon didn't just make a difference to you, it actually benefited a whole lot of other people because we've heard that you got given some money for achieving such a cool sporting achievement. Would you like to tell us about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I gave the money to the storehouse because I never thought like people were having enough food, and food is healthy for people, and if people don't have enough food, they will start starving.
Yeah, and it's so good for everyone. It's not fair for some people in the world to have food and other people in the world not to have food. So that's so kind and generous of you to decide to use that money that you raised from running your marathon to help other people have food and be fit and healthy and have all the energy they need for lockdown as well. So well done. That is so kind and so impressive. And what was it that made you decide to give it to Storehouse? You could have given that money to anybody. What made you think, that's the place I want to give it to?
Wow. We just give it to the charity. It was what I was going to do a long time ago during my marathon. When I was doing it and my grandma was over. We were chatting about that and we were like, let's put it to the food charity.
Good. That's nice that you had a good conversation with your grandma about it. Very good. And so there could be lots of other little kids who are watching. They might even be 8 years old, going to be 9 years old in November too. You never know. What would you say to any kids watching right now who would like to do something to be able to raise some money for a charity, maybe even Storehouse? Would you give them any tips or advice? Pro-marathon tips?
Well, it is important to keep other people exercising during lockdown.
Very good. So they could exercise with other people, maybe raise some money that way. Maybe do a marathon just like Alex. Wonderful stuff. Very good. Well, once again, Alex, what you have done is incredible. Doing a marathon at 8, nearly 9 years old is ridiculously impressive. So, you, well done. And then choosing to donate all of that money to Storehouse Food Bank as well is amazing and so kind and generous and thoughtful. So well done. Thank you very much. Should we give everyone a wee goodbye wave?
Wonderful. Once again, Alex, huge congratulations. What an incredible thing to do, running a marathon, jeez Louise, and then managing to donate money to Storehouse. How incredible was that? Well, well, well done. You're very amazing. Now, Alex might have inspired some of you guys watching to want to do a similar thing. Just because that was last week's mission challenge doesn't mean that we stop loving others, loving God, and stop sharing our things. So you might have come up with a creative way that you want to continue to raise some money or donate food to the Storehouse Food Bank. That would be incredible. Now, As for this week's challenge, we have another great way that you can get plugged in and in a practical way show God's love and kindness to the people in the world around you. So, without further ado, in a 3, in a 2, in a 1. Your mission this week, should you choose to accept it, is to find a way to love God and love others by loving your neighbour. Now remember, your neighbour isn't just the person that lives right next door to you. God says everyone is our neighbour. Now that is a lot of people to show love to. So your challenge this week is find a way, a practical way to show love to your neighbour. I wonder who that could be for you. Now we've actually already had some of our Catalyst kids doing this all over lockdown and finding creative ways to show love to their neighbours and to the people around them. Even just last week, we had a story from one family in Ellen. And what they did, there was Owen and Ella and Ava, and they took a bar of chocolate and left it on their neighbour's front step. Here's a little picture for you. And you know, their next door neighbour said that that meant so much to her because she'd actually been having a really hard day that day. And she opened her door and there was chocolate there. How exciting! And you know, Owen and Ella and Ava, they didn't know that their neighbour had had a bad day when they decided to show love and give her a special bar of chocolate. They just did it because they wanted to show God's love. But you know, we are called to love everybody, always. But sometimes God can put a special person in your mind or in your heart and you just start thinking about them and you might think, maybe that's the person that I should show love to this week. So I'd encourage you to pray as you do this challenge and ask God, who needs an extra bit of love this week? Who can I show your love and kindness to and do this mission challenge with, and see if God pops someone into your mind as you pray that prayer, because it might be that that day they really need an extra bit of love, just like those guys' neighbours did that day. Now remember, your neighbour could be anyone. They did that with the chocolate and their next door neighbour, but your neighbour could be your postman, it could be the person at the supermarket checkout, it could be your uncle or your friend from school or your teacher or the gardener at the garden. I've ran out of ideas, but your neighbour could be anybody. Who is your neighbour and who are you going to show love to as your neighbour this week? That is your challenge. Good luck with it. Let us know how you get on and enjoy. Have fun. It's exciting showing love to our neighbours. So good luck. Enjoy. Challenge. And now, I think that nearly brings us to the end of our Catalyst Kids today. I have loved having this primary kids service with you all. Before we say goodbye, there's one last thing that I would love to do, and that is pray. Now, I wonder if you know this or not, but in the Bible, there's a moment where Jesus taught people how to pray. And that special prayer in the Bible is called the Lord's Prayer. And you know, when I was a kid, just like you, I went to a school, and in that school, we had to pray this special prayer every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. But the version of this prayer that I learnt was from a really old Bible, and so some of the words were pretty confusing. The prayer that I learnt went like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Now you might be thinking, Sarah, what does art and thy and trespass all mean? What confusing little words. Well, we are about to pray that prayer, the Lord's Prayer, all together just now. But we're going to use a version of that from the Bible that's a little bit more in language that you would maybe chit-chat every day to. So, coming up, there will be that on the screen. This is from Matthew 6 in the Bible, if you ever want to go look it up in your own Bible. The words will come up on the screen here, so you can pray this prayer along with me. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, holy is your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. That just means everything that we need. And forgive us our sins as we forgive those who've sinned against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Wonderful. Now, coming up next, there is going to be some questions and activities on the screen for you and the people in your house to enjoy all together. So remember to pause when you get to that so you can check those out. And I think with that, it's about time for me to say cheerio. Goodbye. I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.